All right. This is the I.S.U.P.K. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to see what the sound's saying. Let me just pull it up on YouTube so I can get the volume. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. All right, that's the web. All right, hold on, give me a second. Also, okay, this is the Wednesday low class. Also, remember to check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday 2 a.m. UK time. There's also the general also has a radio show, Black Watch, also on the Saturday, which is 2 a.m. UK time as well. So check out that. Also, there's classes all throughout the week. You can catch them online on Facebook and so forth. And in the UK, we have what? Monday, the history class. Tuesday, the brotherhood class. Wednesday, the law class. Thursday, the scripture breakdown class. Friday, the Under Ends radio show. Saturday, we have the Sabbath service in camp. And yeah, we got a busy schedule in the UK. So also remember, phone the school, man. Log in, put your name down so you get recognized for your attendance. So you can get a name, and that way you can come into school. You can receive a name, and you can come into school and experience this one wonderful brotherhood that we are experiencing here, man. Also, we have what? The closing of the Feast of Tabernacles, which is Tuesday. So that would be at 394 Lodge Road, B18, 5PW. So that's 394 Lodge Road, B18, 5PW. Feel free to come on down to that, man. Where what? Brothers will break bread, man. We'll drink, we'll eat, break down precepts, experience brotherhood. Come on down to that because it's important, man. You have to be around your brothers to know what it's like to be around us. So we're gonna go back to where we finished off about 2 weeks ago. So we're gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Give me a second. Hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh yeah, see it. You see when I see it, snatch down in my chair, like, oh shit, it's on that move. Oh, you look the same baby. See that in my pocket, the same thing. I was like, yeah, at least I'm not the only one that real members of the backers. Never get some screens. I gave us. So this is the. So also, any questions, just type them in. Oh yeah, forwarded. Any questions, just type them in, and we'll get to them. So we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33. Hold on, let me get there. Yeah, take this one. So in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33. Need a bit of Bible, you know. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. Shall a nation. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check on. I just want to see if this mic. Oh shit, that mic was up. Give me a second. I just want to see if this mic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No proper Bibles, yeah. All right, then, yeah, go ahead, you can read this. Yeah, go ahead, you can read that one. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20 and verse 33. Also, any questions, just type them in, and like we always do, we'll get to them. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. So, okay, did you say chapter 28? Deuteronomy 28 and verse 33. And verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. Well, the fruit of your labors, I know the nation is going to benefit from it. Right. That's one of the cases of us going into slavery. That what? Everything you do, somebody else will benefit from it. And that's exactly what you see today. You built England up. Who's benefiting from it? Not you. All your labors shall another nation eat us up. Meaning, a nation that ain't yours is going to benefit from the work you put in. Right. Going to benefit from your hard work. Going to benefit from the roads you built. Going to benefit from the business you built. Going to benefit of all the cotton you picked. And now you built up England. You made it what it is. And now they're getting rid of you to bring in the Afghans. Why? Because it says, all your labors, another nation is going to eat it up. And that's exactly what's happening. Everybody is benefiting off of the back of what you've gone through, man. Off of the back of your oppression, your slavery, everything. Everybody else benefits from it except you. This is why you're at the bottom of society. In a job you don't really want to be doing. You're oppressed. Because other nations benefit from your labor. Right. Like you think, yeah, I can just work my way up the ladder. The time you don't worry, just work hard, you can work your way up the ladder. That can't happen, man. Everybody benefits off of your slavery, man. Right. Everybody benefits off of your oppression. Another nation shall eat up all your labors. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. There you go, man. On everything you do, you think working, you think laboring is going to make these other nations love you. But it doesn't, man. So right. What do? You work. And it says, thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Why? Because you get your heart crushed when you realize things are not loving, man. That's right. You get your heart crushed when you realize you worked and no one's going to love you. We told you that you're going to build up this country and you're not going to get the credit for it.
Right.
And now you're seeing that, man. Now your heart is crushed, right? Because you thought the English would treat you good. You thought the English would love you. It's not going to happen, man.
That's right.
The Afghans are preferred before you.
Right.
Now, you've done way more work than the Afghans, but they're preferred before you would ever be.
That's
They're
right.
treated better than you would ever be treated. And this is why they get hotels, they get breakfast, they get free meals a day. And what do you get? Nothing, man.
Right.
These Afghans even come and is racist towards you. These Afghans don't even want you working at the hotels, meaning they look at us as lower than low. Like, for instance, in these East Indians have a thing where I believe the Jats are the rich ones, and I can't remember what the poor ones are called, but the Pakistanis have a thing also where the Chowdhuries are the rich ones, and then the Masulis are the poor ones. So the Masulis are what? They're the servants. So they will work in your house. They will clean. They will iron your clothes. They'll wash your dishes. And they said that black people are looked at as less than Masulis. So these same Masulis, who's the lowest caste, because every race has castes, high castes and low castes. And usually they say that the darker you are is the lower caste you are, which lets you know white supremacy is everywhere.
Right.
The brother said, all right, my Daniel, you know that, yeah? He goes, I might want to change the mic.
This one.
Yeah, because he goes to read this way louder than. All right, I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna use this one. So yeah, the Afghans is what preferred before you, and they've recently just come over here, man, and they're already oppressing you. They've already said things like they don't want black people working in the hotel serving them, because everybody wants to rule over you, man. Everybody does rule over you, but we're gonna read on. Just let me someone online just let me know if you can hear the reader once it starts reading. All right, Mad Banyan for water.
Verse 34. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
Listen, man. It says, go up a verse, read up one verse.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
Meaning what? People of another nation who ain't your nation is going to eat up everything you do, man.
Right.
All the work you do, everything you've built happens all the time. What happens? We become musicians and make millions. What happens? Your manager, some white man, probably works for Warner Brothers or Sony, does what? Buys your catalog, man. He makes money off of all your music. You end up bankrupt. Ask these musicians, man. They get skanked. We think they're rich, but really they're getting skanked by their promoters and their management. Listen, man, you do all the work and another nation eats it up. Like, for instance, Tupac made all them songs rapping. Who owns his estate now? White people, man. Which means what? Every Tupac album you buy, Tupac don't get it because he's dead, man.
Right.
His mom don't get it. She's dead. His family don't get it. Who does get it? A white man, man.
That's right.
All your work, another nation eats it up. And this has been going on for years. Everything we do, other nations get paid off it, man.
Right.
They reap the benefits. You build a house, you don't get to live in there. You build the railways, it don't benefit you. They got the NHS off the back of slavery. It don't benefit you. It don't benefit you. Everything you built is now going to the Afghans, man. Everything is going to the Afghans. All your skills that you had, you teach other nations, and what do? Make out like it came from them. Happens all the time, man. All these Caribbean drinks, all these Jamaican drinks, all these alcoholic drinks, black people is the originator of them, made them. But who's on the bottle? A white man, man.
Right.
Who makes that like it's their drink? Our oppressor. Meaning our labors is eaten up. And it tells us that this is one of the cases in the Bible. Our whole life is in the Bible. Read on.
And thou shalt be only oppressed.
And what?
And thou shalt be only oppressed.
And this is one of the reasons why we are oppressed, man. Because you're working hard and you have to see Afghans come in and reap all the benefits.
Right.
You working hard. The white man does what brings the Polish over. They reap all the benefits. So of course you're going to be oppressed, man. Go ahead.
And crush.
And what?
And crush.
And you're crushed because you're waiting for England to love you. We crushed, why? Because we've gave our all to England. And what does England give you back? Nothing, man. England just shows you they hate you. England gives you nothing back.
Right.
And you're going to be crushed because you love this place.
That's right.
And you think by you working hard, you're going to have equal opportunities. You think by you working hard, you're going to be accepted. You think speaking the Queen's English, they're going to love you. No, man. They're just going to call you a nigger and you're going to be crushed. Your feelings is going to be hurt. You're going to be upset and distraught. The more you love them, the more you're going to get your heart broke, man.
Right.
This is why you should stop loving them. The more you love them, the more they're going to break your heart.
That's right.
Because you love them with everything and think this place loves you. And then when you realize it don't love you, your heart's broke. Whereas with us, we understand England don't love us, man.
That's right.
But we don't love it either. We understand England don't love us, and we don't love England either, man. So once this place shows its racism, we ain't upset, man. We ain't crushed. Why? Because we know this place is racist. We see this place for what it is. We see this place for exactly what it is. Whereas in the Christian church, they can't see this place for what it is.
Right.
They think this place is their home. They believe our oppressor's narrative when he tells them this is the motherland. This ain't the motherland for us, man.
Right.
This country ain't been no mother to black people. This country ain't been no mother to no Hispanic people and Native Americans. This place has been oppressive to us. This place has been murderous to us. This ain't our home, man. And they tell us this is the motherland. Our mother's supposed to be nurturing and love her children. England don't see you as its children, man.
Right.
This is why they let Afghans in and kick you out. Why? Because they're making way for people who they see as their children. They're making way for people they see as their children, and who they would rather have Afghans than you. They'd rather bring a uncivilized people and kick you out, and they lie and claim that you're uncivilized, whereas crimes that black people do, we learned it from our oppressors, man.
Right.
And we ain't criminals. The crimes that black people do is usually petty crimes, but they're bringing in people from a country where rape is high and all them things, and they have the cheek to call you the rapist with no evidence. Read on.
So that thou shalt be mad.
So that what?
That thou shalt be mad.
And we become mad in this place, man. At first, we was madly in love with this place, and when it don't love us back, we've become mad, man.
Right.
We lose our mind. We go crazy, man. And you have to be mad to love this place. You have to be mad to love this place that don't love you.
Right.
After seeing all the murder, all the bloodshed, all the oppression, we've gone mad. How are we in love with this place? And this place shows us nothing but hatred, man.
Right.
And it's in the Bible, all these cases I read on.
For the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see, for what? Which thou, for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
Our eyes have seen some things in this place, man. Murders by our oppressors. And listen, we've definitely gone mad if we forgive them, man.
Right.
We've gone mad if we forgive them. Nobody else don't forgive another nation that murders their people.
Right.
Only we do, which shows this is why we should run the earth.
Right.
Which shows why we deserve to rule this earth, man. Because we're the only people with compassion. We're the only people with a heart. We're the only people that know about forgiveness. Though what we've been through, we're the only nation who knows about forgiveness. Go ahead.
smite thee in the knees and in the legs.
And now, these was the diseases and infections we was gonna have. And we had these, man. You do know in slavery, brothers had to get their legs cut off, man. Why? Because they had infections in their feet, in their legs, and in their knees. They had gangrene and all them things, man. So much their legs had to be amputated. Just remember, back then, medical care wasn't what it is now. Back then, they'll take you to a stump, cut your leg off. That was it, man. Get me? No painkillers. None of this. No epidurals, none of that, man. We would go through these things. Obviously, your leg would get infected. It wouldn't be treated in a timely manner. And then that infection would spread up your legs. And then they would say, okay, it's spreading, so we need to cut his leg off from up to here. That's what they would do, man. And then what would they do after that? They didn't let you go free. There were certain jobs you could still do. So you were still a slave. Obviously, your work just wouldn't be as rough as somebody else's who had two legs, but they always made sure there was work for you. Whether you was young, maimed, old, they always found work for you during slavery. Go ahead.
And in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed.
With what?
With a sore botch that cannot be healed.
Listen, man. We had things that couldn't be healed, man. And that's why they had to amputate. Why do they amputate your legs? Why? Because what you got can't be healed. So the only way to stop it from spreading is to cut it off. That's what they done, man. There's history books where it tells you how to cut your legs off, cut your arms off, cut your fingers off. Because medical care back then wasn't what it is today, man. Wait, what are you looking for? Charger. No, so I read it from here for a bit. What verse was you at?
36.
All right, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee unto a king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Meaning what? The man that you set over you, man. The man that you set over you, meaning you think this man, the Lord's with him. This man's special. This man's our leader. This man's our king. That man couldn't stop you going into slavery, man. Your leaders came into slavery with you. The leaders of all these, listen, man. The leader of the Maroons was what? In slavery with you, man. The leaders of all these movements was what? In slavery with you. It says, the king which thou shalt set over thee, meaning the man that you go to for answers, the man that you've set in charge, the man that you think's got the tactics to get you out of this hell. He came into slavery with you, man. He wasn't strong enough to do what? Defend you from our oppressors. He wasn't strong enough to do none of that, man. It says, the king that thou shalt set over thee, the king that thou shalt set over thee shall go into captivity with you. And that's what happened. Why? Because back when we was living in West Africa, what did people do? Set people over them. This man's in charge of us. This man's got a warrior spirit, so he's in charge. Listen, man, they also came into slavery with you, letting you know what? Your leaders couldn't stop you from the white man.
Right.
Your leaders couldn't stop you from going into slavery. They had all the answers, but they didn't have the answer for you to not how to not get in slavery. Read that verse for me again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee from the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Go ahead.
And there shalt thou serve other gods.
And what?
And there shalt thou serve other gods.
And listen, man, we came to a next country, and there we served other gods. We served these other nations' gods. We served Allah and Caesar Borgia. We served gods that we ain't known, man. Gods that was nothing. We started serving idols and all of that garbage when we knew better than that. Go ahead.
Wood and stone.
We serve what?
Wood and stone.
Wood being what, man? The cross. Stone being what? The Kaaba, Islam. So now, after this, we went on that slave ship, we came off, and now we're serving other gods. We're serving gods that ain't ours, man. We're serving wood and stone. So much that now, most niggas you see talk about Jesus peace, man. They talk about their Jesus peace, walking around with a so-called Jesus peace on. Muslims bowing down, rubbing their forehead in the concrete. These are the things we do, walking around in a man dress, rubbing their forehead in the concrete. This is the nonsense we do now. Why? Because we are people that's been in slavery and they introduced their gods to us, man. Now, when we came to the Caribbean, white people wanted to introduce Christianity to us, but they said, you know what? We can't give them the whole Bible. Let's give them the parts which teaches them to be submissive and salvation if they obey. So what did they do? They took out like 90% of the Bible and left you with verses where it says, servants, obey your masters. They left you with that. They left you with the 10 Commandments. But they took out all of the Psalms. They took out the book of Exodus because they know you'd read Exodus and realize, wow, damn, this sounds like my story. This sounds like my life. So they took those things out. Them things they took out and left you with servants, obey your masters. Because they know if you read the whole Bible, then you'd realize, you know what? This is talking about my life, man.
Right.
Like these oppressors knew exactly who you was. They knew who you was, but obviously they ain't gonna tell you who you are. So they've lied to you, told you, yeah, you're African, told you we come to they told you that we've come to give you a new religion. Because their words was, listen, before they converted you to Christianity, their exact words was, we need to bring our religion to these Negroes because their religion is savagery. Because obviously back then you was following some nonsense African customs, which black people still follow till this day. Like 9 nights, that's not our customs, man. 9 nights was an old African custom. 9 nights is an old African custom where they used to do what? They used to leave food out and believe that the spirit takes time to pass over to the afterlife. And you leave out a meal on the 9th night and this family member eats the meal. All of those things. That's what we believed. And where did we pick up that? We picked up that in West Africa. So we picked up that garbage in West Africa. And this is why till this day, you celebrate 9 nights and you believe in doppies. Believing in doppies and all of that stuff came from us being in West Africa. So what did we do? Every time we're around heathens, we pick up their practices. So we believe stuff like we believed in voodoo and all of that stuff. Where did we pick up that? West Africa. Now, over there in West Africa, they still believe it till this day, a thing called blood money. Meaning, if you want to get rich and loads of money, you have to lie down in a coffin. They'll dig up a grave and you lie down in a coffin. And they believe that's what gets them rich. Nonsense like that. They believe in a thing called blood money. You should be able to look it up. And this is why till this day, people talk about, oh yeah, the spirit of our ancestors. Listen, man, this is how it goes. We don't believe in all of that doppy and all that dead stuff because we know what? We serve the God of the living, man. We know we're going to come back. We know our loved ones come back on the earth. So we don't need to go to the graveyard every week, cry and mourn and put down flowers because we understand our loved ones come back. We understand once upon a time, we lived, died, came back, man. Why? Because reincarnation is a real thing. Reincarnation is biblical. You're born, you grow, you die, you come back. That's how it goes, man. Heaven is on the earth. And if we want to come back and live a good life, we have to serve the Lord in this one, man. We need to serve the Lord in this one so we have a better chance of having a good life in this life and the next one. But obviously, Christianity will teach you some garbage. So we came into slavery and served wood and stone. Like they gave you that wood and stone. In the Caribbean, they gave you Christianity, gave you a watered down version of the Bible where they took out all the verses, took out Exodus, took out the Psalms. Until this day, once you read they call it the slave Bible because that's what they gave to you where they took all the verses out. So even they knew, yo, this book's powerful, man. And that's why they took half the verses out and gave you something called the slave Bible with only 10% of it in there. Until this day, when you go to church, you will see that they still only read the verses which the white man gave to them. Like this is why they say the Old Testament's done away with. This is why they don't know things that David was a warrior. This is why they don't know things that Moses freed the Israelites. They just know. All they know is John 3:16. Servants, obey your masters. That's all they know. Not realizing your masters wasn't talking about the white man, man. It was talking about brothers in the truth who's ranked over you, man. Because they do the work of the Lord. That's what it's talking about, man. Obey them. Why? Why do you obey them? Why? Because the order that they're giving you is coming from someone who is over them, coming from the Lord, man. These orders come from the Lord. My brother ain't telling you to complete an order because it's anything to him. No, it's the work of the Lord, man. And there's a hierarchy, there's an order. Read on.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
And now we become a what?
An astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations.
All nations have a name for you, man. Every nation has a name for us. Every nation stereotypes us. Every nation thinks what? All black people are criminals. Every nation thinks what? All black men don't take care of their kids. Every nation thinks that all black people are garbage. Every nation thinks that all black people do is kill each other. Like people see us and they're astonished to look at us like, damn, look how these people behave. Look how these niggas carry themselves. And this is why most of them don't want to give you a job. This is why you apply for jobs, you go to the meetings, the interviews, and already if you see a white man there, you know what? He's more than likely going to get the job. And this is why growing up, your grandma told you, you have to work twice as hard. Your grandma would say you have to work twice as hard. Why should I have to work twice as hard as everyone else if I'm getting the same wage as everyone else?
Right.
That's what being black is, man. Yeah. Being black is what? You being at the bottom of society. Everybody stereotypes you. Everybody, you're a proverb and a byword. So much that nobody wants to employ you. So much that police stop and search you. So much that all these other nations look down on you. Every single nation looks down on us, man. But the time's coming when that's not going to happen. Read on.
Among all nations.
Among what?
Among all nations.
Every single nation, man. Even the Afghans, even these Afghanistans, man, can't speak a word of English, think they're better than you. These from a war-torn country think they're better than you. That's how low we've become. These are the cases, man. Read on.
Whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Whither what?
Whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Everywhere we are, all the nations round about us think they're better than us, man. Read on.
Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in.
I'm out.
And shalt gather but little in.
Listen, man. You carry much seed out to the field and gather but little in. You work so hard. You work. And when your paycheck comes, you get a little, man. Your paycheck don't even stretch. We live from wage to wage. Have you ever wondered how at work, everyone that works with you, you're always broke, man, and everybody else has got money. Everyone else, hold on 1 second. Yeah, everyone else has got money, but you haven't, man. This is the life that we live. Yes, man. You plant much seed, man, and you gather very little therein. We work hard, do overtime. But the paycheck says otherwise, man. You do all these hours, Everyone thinks you're balling and you're rich. The paycheck says otherwise, man. These is the curses, man. Every other nation that does the same job as you, they can survive. They've got mortgages. What do we have? Nothing, man. Read on.
For the locust shall consume it.
For the locust shall consume it. Now, that was back then when you tried to plant and you didn't bring much in. Why? Because the Lord put a curse on us that the locusts would eat up all your crops. But nowadays, obviously, we don't plant nothing no more. Nowadays, we just go to work. And what eats it all up? Bills, child support, fines, all of those things eat it all up, man. Taxes. Back then, it was locusts that ate it up because you was doing field work. Now you just work your job and all the bills, eat up everything you have. You're thinking, well, damn, I mean, this oppressor getting taxed the same because, you know, he's still got a decent amount at the end on payday, but me. Read on.
Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes. For the worm.
So now, you'll plant vineyards. You'll do things, man. Hoping it's going to work out. And I'm telling you straight up and down, without the Lord, nothing's going to work for you, man. Without the Lord, nothing's going to work for you. You can work for 20 years. What you want, you're not going to get it. Or if you do get it, you're not going to enjoy it. This is the only place to be, man. You put this first, and then the Lord will give you whatever he sees fit to give you, man. If you really want something, then the Lord thinks, all right, then that brother deserves it. You will get it, man. But if you neglect this truth for what you want, you're never going to get it. And if you do get it, the Lord will let you get it and let you lose it straight away, man. He'll watch you lose it, and then you're going to be left with nothing. Whereas you could just put the Lord first. Put the Lord first, man. And then the Lord will be with you, and chances are you will get whatever you wanted. Read on. If the Lord sees fit to give you. Obviously, we ain't like the Christian church that's going to tell you, oh, come in here and your life's going to be prosperous. It don't mean that. That's what they tell you in church. Come to church and the Lord will bless you with £1 million. No, we ain't telling you that lie. Go ahead.
For the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts.
Go ahead.
But thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil.
Meaning, don't have olive trees, but the oil, once it's ready from them olive trees, they won't even get to anoint themselves with it. Like everything you do now, everybody else benefits from it, but you. The only people who should benefit from it is you, but you don't. Everybody else does. Everybody benefits from your labor. Even these Afghans is benefiting from your labor, man. They're getting new houses. They're on the housing list. And what are you on? Nothing, man. They're getting the new builds. You're going to get some old house, which is moldy. There's tons of people here who need houses, and they're on a waiting list, living in bedsits waiting on a house. And these Afghans has been put right before them. Go ahead.
For thine olive shall cast his fruit.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not enjoy them.
You know.
For they shall go into captivity.
Listen, man. Your sons and your daughters went in captivity. These is babies. In your mind, you're going to get to enjoy them. You're going to get to spend time with them. Meaning to enjoy them means what? You get to raise your children. You get to see them grow. See them go to school for their first day. Be there when their first tooth comes out. See them take their first steps. All of those. To see when they're no longer breastfeeding, when they're weaned from the breast. You get to enjoy them, man. Kind of like when Abraham seen Isaac for a what? For a feast because he was weaned. That's what it means to enjoy them, man. You didn't get to do none of that with your children. Those babies came out of the womb. You raised them until they could do stuff. And they was on the cotton field, man. They was running around with little baskets of cotton, man. Little baskets. Doing slave work. Meanwhile, what? Precious babies stay in the pushchair till they're like 5-6 years old. Them babies is lazy, man. Our precious babies is lazy.
Right.
And they say we lazy. Like we ain't built this whole world up for them. So their babies would stay in the pushchair till they're like 8 years old. Probably 8-9 years old to stay in the pushchair. Meanwhile, your baby from 2-3 Imagine you're meant to enjoy your baby's first steps. It's so bad that you don't even want your baby to take its first steps so soon. Why? Because you know what that means. You know, once your child takes his first steps, it's time to start picking cotton, man. It's time to start working the field.
Right.
Imagine this. You're born and now you're picking cotton, man. You're picking cotton and you're a baby and you're thinking, hold on, why am I picking cotton and white babies ain't? But in your mind, your whole life, you've just been taught, oh, being this color means you're a slave. You don't know no better because you've been born into this. It's like an animal in a zoo. His whole life, he just thinks, okay, I'm meant to live in this zoo. Not realizing one time there was free to wander wild. So obviously that generation would have died off that was free. Would have left behind children that lived in the cotton field. Like, it lets you know that in certain history books that most slaves never stepped off the plantation. Most slaves spent their whole life on the plantation. Their whole life was picking cotton, working in the sugar mills, and so forth. Picking cotton, working in the sugar cane fields. Then you would take that cane, you take it to the sugar mills with the boiling water and all of them things. All these injuries you would get. And you'd be beaten if you didn't produce as much as you were supposed to. Why? Because every slave master wanted money. So your job was to be his cash cow. Your job was to do what? Work, and get him the cash. And you didn't benefit from none of it. You didn't enjoy your children. Imagine this, man. Your child you love so much. You want to see their first steps. And a white man just wants to see them step on the cotton field, man. That's the difference. You want to see them take their first steps, lose their first tooth. This devil wants to see them step on the cotton field and pick cotton. And in your mind, you know that's not right, man. But you can't say nothing. Why? Because you don't want to get beaten. You don't want to get whipped. So your child lives in the cotton field and he thinks, yo, basically, because of the color of my skin, I'm just a slave. I'm inferior. His whole life he's taught is inferior. That's how we grew, man. Lived on the cotton field, lived on the plantation. Most slaves never left the plantation. It tells you that. Read on. I wish I had the book with me, but I ain't got it. Go ahead.
All thy trees and the fruit of the land shall the locust consume.
Go ahead.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
The what?
Shall get up above thee very high.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up very high. And where's everybody else? Very high, man. They own this earth. They run the world. And where are you? Begging for jobs. Begging begging Pretty Patel to let you into the UK. Where are you filling out all these work visas, trying to save money to send for your partner? Now it costs what, £21,000 a year. Meanwhile, the Afghans get to come here for free. Why do you have to go to them? Because they've got up very high. And you're at the bottom, and you're the beggar, and they're the lender, and we've become the scum, and they've become the what greatness is. Even though they ain't great, but they like to parade around like they are. They've become everything that black people want to be, especially black people in the Christian church. Their whole goal is to be like our oppressor. Their whole goal is to be equal with him. Their whole goal is to want to be just like him. Whereas in the I.S.U.P.K, man, our goal is to be better than him, man. We know that our time's coming when we're going to run the earth. Read on.
Shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
And what?
Thou shalt come down very low.
We've come down low, man. Now we're in the ghetto. Meanwhile, this man lives where? In the suburbs. Gated community. Nice houses, nice cars, and we skimping and scraping in the ghetto, man. That's what we doing in the ghetto, skimping and scraping, trying to survive. I read them.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Listen, man. You have to go to this man for a loan. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Read that part again.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Why? Because he's got all the money. I mean, what can he borrow from you? There's nothing he can borrow from you. Because we ain't got nothing to offer. But the time's coming when we gonna run the earth, man. And these nations is going to be begging us for jobs, begging us for everything that we begging them for. Read on.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
He shall be the what?
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and
It
overtake.
says all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee, man. Meaning when someone's pursuing you, they're chasing you, man. They're following you. These curses shall pursue thee and overtake thee. Imagine if someone was pursuing you and they overtake you. That means they're gonna catch you, man. These curses catch every last one of us, whether we're rich, whether we're poor. These curses attack you based on your race, man. These curses is race related. It's not religion related. It's race related. Because why? Black Christians still go through what we go through, man. Black Muslims and black Christians still go through the oppression, still go through the racism. Why? Because religion can't save you from what from racism. Religion can't save you from what race you are. Like religion doesn't separate you from your race, man. No matter what religion you join, you're still a nigger to everybody else, man. Whether you join Islam, guess what? You're still a nigger to them Arabs. Whether you join Christianity, you're still a nigger to the white man. No matter what, we're still niggers, man. And we need to come together and leave them religions. Because they ain't fixing us, man. They ain't changing our situation. Them religions was forced on us during slavery. You wanted a day off on Sunday, okay, become a Christian. You didn't accept it. Some people got killed for not accepting that religion, man. So much that what now? We're the best Christians, man. We go church, sing and dance. We become better Christians than our oppressor now, man. That's how much they forced their religion on us. And you do know these so-called Christians don't even follow their own religion properly, man. All you that like that Amazing Grace song, what's his name? He was like a slave trader, man. I can't remember what his name was. John Newton. Yeah, John Newton, him and his father, man. Slave traders. He made that song Amazing Grace. He made tons of hymns, man. Tons of hymns that people sing. And this man was a slave trader. Meanwhile, he's singing all this Amazing Grace. He wasn't thinking about you when he was singing them songs. Listen, man, he had you know what? You do know he wrote another hymn about killing a slave. He wrote another hymn about harming a slave, man. I need to find it for you. I got it in one of them history books I got. But he had tons of hymns. I believe he had about 400 and something hymns. Him and I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but listen, man. He was a well-known racist. And what do black people do? Amazing Grace, how great that. How does it go? Do you remember how it goes?
How sweet the sound.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Is that how it goes? I ain't heard this. I ain't heard that in a while. If someone knows how it goes, just type it in the chat. But black people love that song. You hear it at every funeral, man. Every black funeral you go to, Amazing Grace, how great thou art, and all this garbage. I.S.U.P.K said, your mic's off.
Okay.
Was it off?
It's on, you know.
It's on. Hold on.
Hello.
Hold on one second. Let me just pull it up and see if we can hear it. Give me a second. What's it? Say something on that mic. Let me hear what that mic sounded like.
Hello.
Is it off? So, what's it? Say something. Let me hear.
Hello.
Hold on one second. Let me just pull up and see if we can hear it. Give me a second. What's it? Say something on that mic. Let me hear what that mic sounded like. Hello. Oh yeah, I can hear you. There's a slight lag. Damn, there's a big lag from where we are. All right, go ahead. What verse was you at?
45.
Go ahead.
Till thou be destroyed.
Till what?
Till thou be.
Actually, read upper verse. Go back to 44. So lucky.
Verse 44. He shall lend to thee.
He shall lend to thee, meaning you have to go to him for a loan. You have to go to him in order to pay your mortgage and you pay it back, you have to go to him so you can get a higher purchase car. He shall lend to thee. Why? And guess what? The sad part about it is he's lending you your own money, man. He's lending you he set up all these businesses off the back of slavery. And now he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Why? Because he's got everything on this earth. Everything he runs. What do you run? The barbershop. What do you run? Little Caribbean food shop. What do you run? A shubin where it looks like the ceiling's gonna collapse. Where you're walking there, the floorboards is all moving all over the place. And that's what you own. You own those things, man. Meanwhile, this man owns what? Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, the Tower of London. He owns all these things. He owns the museums, the libraries, the universities, and you own a little barbershop, man. You own a little barbershop, you clippers and a broom. That's all you have in the barbershop is you 2 pairs of clippers. Half the time, those don't even work. Feels like it's gonna blow up in your head, you know, and the shaves feels like it's gonna blow up in your head half the time, man. So that's all you own is the clippers, a broom, and a barbershop, man. That's the only things we have is barbershops and food shops. And the sad part is what? The barbershop and food shop that we think we have, we're still renting it from our oppressor, man. You're renting it from him. It's his building that you're renting. So most of your money is going on rent, man. Go ahead.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Meaning he's at the top. He's at the top, man. He's the top of the food chain, and you're at the bottom. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Like where he goes, you have to follow, man. This man's the head. Where this man goes, you have to follow. This man goes to a war, you have to follow him to a war, man.
Right.
This man goes here, you have to follow him. He's the head, and you're the tail. Meaning he's in charge, and you just follow what he does, man.
Right.
He's at the top and you're at the bottom. Like wherever this man wants to go, you have to follow him wherever he sends you, man. He's the head and you're the tail. Meaning you don't have no saying whatsoever. You just do what he tells you to do, man. You follow what the head wants to do. You follow who's the leader and who's in charge. And right now, this man is in charge of you, man.
Right.
And you're just the tail. You just go where the head goes, man. Wherever the head goes, that's where you go. Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon
Says,
thee.
moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee. So all the ones we've just read, all these will come upon thee. And what we've read, all these curses have come upon us at different times in history. Different times in history, all these things have come upon us. Us building stuff and not enjoying it still happens today. Us not enjoying our children still happens today. Go ahead.
And shall pursue thee.
And what?
And shall pursue thee.
Meaning these curses is going to follow you, man. And shall pursue thee. This was written thousands of years ago. And in 2021, we're still talking about these same curses which is pursuing us. These same curses which is following us everywhere we go. Imagine slavery happened, what, 400 or 500 years ago? And we still suffering the curses till this day. We still what? A proverb and a byword to every nation. We still build things now. And every nation still benefits from it. Like we built up England, we're getting kicked out and the Afghans are coming in, man. They're coming in to get brand new houses. What does Afghanistan know about a bathroom, man? What do they know about a shower and a bath? They don't know about them things, man. Right. What do they know about a shower and a bath and brushing their teeth and a kitchen? They don't know about them things, man. But they're about to get all these things. Go ahead.
And overtake thee till thou be destroyed.
And listen, man, these curses was to overtake us until we be destroyed. And now where do you find most of us, man? Mad out of our mind. We are destroyed people. These curses have destroyed us to what? As a nation, we got no businesses. We got no funds. We can't come together. We got nothing as a nation. Now, we might have things as an individual, but as a nation, we have nothing, man. Whereas the Chinese have Chinatown. These curses have overtook us until it's destroyed thee so much that what? We can't even all come together and say, yo, let's put together and buy a house. And even a family can't, even a black family can't say, you know what? Let's all put together and buy a house. We can't do that. Meanwhile, the East Indians do what? They all put together and buy like 4 or 5 houses. They have family businesses. We destroyed, man. We don't even get on with our family no more. We all hate our family. We all hate one another because we destroyed, man. All these things that we've gone through, all the anger that we have, we gear it towards one another.
Right.
Meanwhile, these other nations look at us and be like, look at these niggas, these proverbs and these bywords. Read on.
Because thou hearkenest not.
And these things are happening because what?
Thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
These things is happening. Why? Because we didn't listen to the voice of the Lord. Like the Lord told us what? Keep his commandments, man. And we'll have all the blessings from Deuteronomy 28 and 1 down to 14, man. We'll have all them blessings. But obviously we didn't listen. So now we get the punishments. This is what you see when the Lord's not with you. When the Lord leaves you, this is what you get, man. The things that we're going through now. Why? Because we didn't want to serve the Lord in joyfulness. We was angry about serving the Lord. Oh, man, I can't get a line up. Oh, man, I can't eat pork. We didn't serve the Lord in joyfulness. To us, it was like it was a burden. We didn't want to serve the Lord. We wanted to do what? Follow other nations. And the same nations that you followed now oppress you, man. Now rule over you horribly. Read on.
To keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
And listen, man, these curses is on us for a sign and for a wonder. So much that even black children see, yo, my life is different to everybody else's. Everybody else understands, yo, black people's life is different to everybody else's. Why? Because these curses is on us for a sign and for a wonder. Meaning, we know who we are, man. Based on our life, we know exactly who we are. We fit these curses and nobody else does. The Jewish man's rich as could be. He's filthy rich, never gone through anything a day in his life. They sing about the Holocaust. They keep singing about it, man. And exaggerate the numbers. Oh, 6 million Jews. They exaggerate the numbers, man. Meanwhile, millions of us die, man. Millions of us. I know these slave voyages, more than half of the people always died. More than 3/4, man. You're lucky if any made it, and the ones that did make it was lying down sick on the deck, man. They had to oil them up to make them look the part. They had to oil them up to make them look well. Meanwhile, they was sick. Their skin was lacking the color. Why? Because they've just been on a ship, ain't eating no proper food. They used to give them 3 spoons of water, man. Imagine that. You're starving and your food is 3 spoons of water. Hold on one sec. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can find the name of it. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. So now, on the slave ships, when you didn't want to eat the slop that was feeding you, they would use a thing called a speculum oris. Now, this is the definition of it. It says the speculum oris at center right was a mechanism used to force open the mouth of anyone who refused to eat. So if you refuse to eat, they'll just put this metal thing in your mouth, they'll push it in and twist it, and it would open up your mouth. They'll just pour whatever they wanted to feed you. So if you didn't want to eat pork, they would force you it, man. If you didn't want to eat anything, they would force feed you with a speculum or oris. That's how they used to feed you, man. On these slave ships, people refused to eat. They'd feed them that. There's some people that would rather jump off the ship and die before they would conform to being a slave. They understood, yo, this ain't how life's supposed to be. So some of them jumped off the ship, man, and drowned. Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
Listen, man, these curses is upon thy seed forever. Why? Because we're the seed of those people that went into slavery. We're the seed of those people who Moses was talking to at this time. We're the seed of those people, and it's on us forever. So much till this day as a nation, these curses still is on us, which lets you know the Bible's true, man. I read what verse you at?
Verse 47.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
We didn't serve the Lord with joyfulness. To us, it was like it was a chore. You see, a chore that you don't want to do. We serve the Lord like that. Oh, I don't want to do this, man. Like, you're supposed to serve the Lord and want to serve the Lord. Like, you ain't supposed to serve the Lord and be mad about serving the Lord. That's how we was. We'd keep a few laws, but we're mad about it. Really, we don't want to keep them. But we just keep them for the sake of it until it got too much. And then we just started breaking them. Go ahead.
With the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart.
Listen, man, we were supposed to be glad about serving the Lord. Like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep this feast day. I'm going to keep this law. We was meant to be happy about it and want to do it. But with us, it was like a chore. We didn't really want to do it. We just wanted to do whatever we wanted. Oh, man, I want to have sex with all these hoes, but the Lord said I can't. Once you start serving the Lord like that, it's a matter of time before you say, you know what, let me go please myself. You want to go do all these stuff that you want to do. It's a matter of time before what? You start doing what you want to do. Like, if you don't serve the Lord with joyfulness, it's a matter of time before what? You start to be so unhappy that you go back into the world and say, you know what? I'm going to do what makes me happy. You need to be in the truth. The truth you need to serve the Lord with joyfulness. Like, being in the truth is supposed to make you happy, man. If it's not making you happy and you ain't serving the Lord with joyfulness, it's a matter of time before you're going to go back into the world. You're going to go back to what makes you happy for a short time until the Lord's ready to deal with you. That's just going to be short-lived. Do it if you want, but it's going to be short-lived. Go ahead.
That's right. For the abundance of all things,
Go ahead.
therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies.
So we didn't want to serve the Lord. Okay, then you don't want to serve me. Go serve the white man then. The Lord said, okay, you don't want to serve me. Go serve your enemies. See what you get by serving them. The Lord said, we'll serve him and he will give us all these blessings. We didn't want to serve the Lord, so the Lord said, okay, go serve your enemies. So now you're serving your enemies and they ain't giving you no blessings, man.
Right.
You could have served the Lord and received blessings. Now you're serving your enemies. And what are we receiving? Oppression, charter flights, being beat up by the police, being oppressed, can't get no jobs, can't get no loans, can't get no mortgages. Listen, man, you serve your enemies. The Lord said, okay, then, well, you had the chance to serve me and receive blessings. So now I'll have you serve your enemies and let's see what they give you. Maybe you prefer them to me. Every black man should be crying, saying, Lord, we repent for us not serving you, man, and we want to come back to our covenant and our agreement. That's what we should be doing. We should be going back to the covenant, man, because serving our enemies, where has it got us? Nowhere, man. Imagine this. We've been in this country for all these years and still in the same place, man. We've been in this country for all these years and we're still at the bottom. I guarantee you, these Afghans is going to get businesses before we do. These Afghans is going to get near enough of Chinatown before we do. Read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Which what?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
There you go, man. Listen, let me tell you how it goes, man. Either you're going to serve the Lord or the Lord's going to send your enemies against you, man.
Right.
If you're tired of this oppressor, serve the Lord, man. It's
Right.
that simple.
That's right.
Go ahead.
In hunger and in thirst.
In what?
In hunger and in thirst.
Anything you want, you have to go to him in hunger and in thirst. You want food, you have to go to him, man. You have to go buy his supermarket chicken, which is all robbery, man. Which is all injected up. You don't know where it's coming from. All you know is, yeah, it's in Tesco and I need to go to him to get my meat. Ain't no black farms. I've been trying to find a black farmer, man. And I ain't found one yet. Now, if there is any, I don't know, I ain't seen none. No, ain't no black farmers. Now, we have to get our meat from our oppressors, man. Everything we want, we have to go to him in hunger and in thirst. You have to go to him for your paycheck. You work all them hours, you get your paycheck, and what does your paycheck do? Goes right back to our oppressor. Because we have to spend our money in his supermarkets, in his businesses, and then that money that you just made goes right back to him, man.
Right.
And then this man gets richer, gives you a next paycheck, And he don't mind paying you. Why? Because he knows that he's gonna get the money right back to him. He knows that money's coming right back his way. Go ahead.
And the nakedness.
Listen, man, you want clothing and all them things, you have to go to him. You want material, you have to go to him. Go to the market in town, man. Who's selling you the material? Our oppressor. All these other nations, you have to go to him. Listen, you want yam and banana, man. You have to go to Mr. Khan's on Dudley Road. This man's trying to tell you which yam's the right yam to get. This man's trying to tell you which green banana is best for you, like he knows. You want to go get your chocho and all of them things? This East Indian man, you have to go to him. Listen, man, if I want to make a pot of soup, I shouldn't have to get my chicken noodles from him, man.
Right.
I should be able to go to a black man and say, yo, give me all the ingredients for my soup. Instead, now I have to buy this, man. You pick up the yam, he puts the yam on the puts the yam on the scale, telling me this piece of yam is £4 or £5. Now I gotta buy my yam from him, man. Because we have to go to our we have to go to our enemies for everything, down to a piece of yam. Meanwhile, I don't think East Indians eat them things. They probably do. Well, not the ones today anyway. Now we have to go to him for yam, banana, chocho, everything you want, thyme. We have to go to them. Why? Because we have to serve all our enemies in hunger and in thirst. Like I should be able to go to a black farmer and say, yo, you got any yam? You got any callaloo? I should be able to do that. Now we have to go buy callaloo in a tin, man.
Right.
Now I'm buying callaloo in a tin. Now after when I want to soak my peas, I have to go buy peas which is already in the tin. Go ahead.
And in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Read that part again.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, man. This man put a yoke of iron on your neck. And some of them yokes he had, when slaves tried to run away, you would get caught in the trees. Like you couldn't really, the yoke was massive, so you couldn't get through certain gaps. They put a yoke of iron upon your neck, man. Like they trained us to be a good slave. Meanwhile, we are people who should never be slaves to nobody. We are people who should have never been slaves to nobody, who should never be murdered by the police, who should never be oppressed. But by us breaking God's laws, these are the things we have to go through. Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have destroyed thee. And now the yoke's off. Why? Because we destroyed. Now we've just become a good slave now. We've become a good slave, man. Like we've become the best slaves ever. It's like a dog. You put a chain on him and he thinks he can only go so far. After a while, they won't go past that mark, man. Because they know, okay, I can't go past that. That's like with us, man. Put a yoke of iron on us until you have destroyed thee. Read on.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
And a nation against us came from far, man. Listen, man. These nations came from far. They came from the other side of the world, man. They came from Europe, man. Listen, man. Christopher Columbus says what? When he stumbled across the Caribbean, well, no, North America, what did he say he was looking for? India. I'm sure he said he was looking for India, and that's why he called it the West Indies or some nonsense. That's why they call it that. But all this, listen, man, they came from far, like they traveled from the ends of the earth, and seeing you as, you know what, we can enslave these people, man. You just thought, yeah, this man's lost. Let's just help him out. This man acted like he wanted your help, man. And then once he learned how to survive during the climates, what did he do? Realize, all right, we can enslave these people. Right. First, the Spanish came, man. First, it was the Spanish. I believe the Dutch and the Spanish started the slave trade. Britain got involved in the slave trade like later on. So what happened is Britain sat back and once they realized, okay, then this seems like, you know, a way to make some money. They came in and then overthrew the Spanish and took over most of the colonies, man. Came in and took over most of the countries and said, well, let's make this our colony. Let's rule this country and take over this one. And that's why we don't speak Spanish, or we would be. Why? Because the Caribbean was originally a colony of Spain, meaning what? The Spanish had slaves in the Caribbean. They had the Arawak Indians as slaves before they started to do what? Travel to West Africa on their triangular route and stuff. So what happened is when the Spanish and the British was fighting, some brothers that was wise decided to run to the mountains. These was the Maroons and so forth. They decided to run to the mountains because they understood that what a white man is a white man. That's what they understood. Whether you're Spanish, whether you're French, whether you're Dutch, some of us was there shouting, screaming freedom, thinking this means we're going to be free. And then once the Spanish surrendered and said, okay, you know what, we turned this over to the British, we was thinking, okay, well, we're going to be free. What happened? You was enslaved, man, letting you know that none of them is going to save you. It's not their job to save you. It's their job to oppress you. Like, it's them we need saving from. Like, you're supposed to see that. Listen, man, if you was there at that time, you're supposed to run to the hills, man, and be like, well, damn, this is the only chance I get of fleeing. Go ahead.
From the end of the earth.
They came from the ends of the earth. Go ahead.
As swift as the eagle flyeth.
And what's the eagle? A predator bird, man. And this man is a predator. He came from the ends of the earth to prey on us, man. He's seen us as, you know what, we can make money off these people, man. We can oppress them. We can make money. Imagine if we have these work for us. We don't have to do the work ourselves. Imagine your children didn't get to enjoy their childhood because there was a slave. Meanwhile, our oppressor's children got to enjoy his childhood. They celebrated every Christmas, every Easter, all of their holidays. And what did your child do? Pick cotton, live on the plantation. Their child got to experience the world. Meanwhile, your child didn't get to experience the world. That's oppression, man. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
A what?
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We didn't know their language, man. Their language, we didn't understand it. So now, they beat us to learn English. And the best we could do is patois, man, which is what? They call it a poor standard of English. They call it, what do they call it now? They call it a broke English, a English for dumb people. That's what they call it, man. That was the best we could get, a English for dumb people. And then so forth. When we did come to England, they didn't want you to speak patois in schools. Meanwhile, these East Indians have always kept their language. They sound like they speak their tongue and their language, and their language ain't looked at. Listen, I don't know if you've heard East Indians speak English. Their English is horrible, man, and their English ain't looked down upon. But you speak patois, it's looked down upon, man. Meanwhile, the East Indian speaks his dialect of English, and it's accepted. Now, if you go to an interview speaking patois, you know you're not getting the job, man.
Right.
So much that what our people have to put on an English accent. Meanwhile, these East Indians who sound like damn Apu from The Simpsons, sound like damn Apu from The Simpsons, they can speak like that, man, and they still get the job because they hate you so much that down to the way you talk, they just hate everything about black people. Like if they could get rid of us, believe me, they would, man. They would get rid of us if they could. Go ahead.
A nation of fierce countenance.
A what?
A nation of fierce countenance.
And this man was fierce, man. This man was so fierce. Every day you're scared. You're thinking, damn, is this man going to beat me today? Sisters thinking, is this man going to rape them today? This man had a fierce countenance. Like there's a look on their face, man. Like, you know, when you see the police, you see that fierce countenance. Every time there's a traffic stop, every time the police stop, you see that fierce countenance on their face. Listen, man, this man has that, man. This man has that look of he just wants to kill something. He just wants to find something wrong to harm, kill, and destroy.
Right.
They had a fierce countenance. Go ahead.
Which shall not regard the
Which shall what?
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So when you was old, this man didn't say, okay, you're old now, don't worry, you can just retire. You can just live out the rest of your days comfortably. No, man. They would either kill you or just leave you out to die, man, because you're old and you're useless to them. Kind of like today, you retire at what, 75 years old? The only reason you retire is because you're too old to do the job. That's the only reason they let you retire. They would work you to death if they could, man. Listen, their whole aim is to work black people to death. Imagine you was born as a baby, went on the cotton field as a baby, and then now it didn't regard you because when you're young, so you on the cotton field as a baby, and it doesn't regard you when you're old. So you spend your whole life picking cotton, man. You came into this earth to be a slave, and you come out of this earth being a slave, and then it tells you accept this religion and you can go to heaven. Listen, man, this man would colonize heaven if he could, man.
Right.
If heaven was a place in the sky like it tells you, this man would colonize it,
Right.
and you would be a slave there, man. You would be picking cotton in heaven, man. You would be picking cotton in heaven and working in the sugar mills in heaven, and you would have a yoke of iron on your neck in heaven. Meanwhile, this man is reaping all the benefits. That's what would happen, man. Don't let this man make out like, okay, he's evil to you on earth, and then when you die and float off to this nonsense place called heaven in the sky, he's going to treat you good there. That don't make no sense, man. The same way he treats you down here is how he would treat you up there, man.
Right.
If heaven in the sky existed, the same way you treat you down here, he would treat you up there also. Go ahead.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle.
And listen, man, this man shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, man. Everything that you do, your labors, everything you produce, this man has the fruit of it, man. Anything you make, this man reaps the benefits. Everything you make, this man reaps the benefits, man. You make music, Warner Brothers get all the money. You make music, Sony gets all the money. You're a great actor, Hollywood gets all the money. Listen, man, they eat up everything that you do. They get paid off it.
Right.
This is why for a while it was so hard for people to go independent, because this oppressor would never let you go independent. Why? Because if you go independent, he ain't gonna get no money, man. So you have to sign to a label where off every record that's sold, you probably get 5 pence. If you're lucky, some people it was 2 pence. So who gets the rest of the money? They give you some garbage percentage, man. Why? Because they control what's showed on the TV, what's played on the radio, so much that you have to conform and give them the bigger percentage when they ain't doing nothing. You're doing all the work. You're writing all the hits because they eat up everything. Go ahead.
And the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed,
Go ahead.
which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil.
This man wouldn't leave you with nothing, man. And this is why all these celebrities end up going bankrupt. Have you noticed every black footballer goes bankrupt, man? This man leaves you with nothing. He takes all the money. Obviously, nowadays, wine and corn, we don't do that no more. Nowadays, it's money. So now this man leaves you with nothing. You played football for all them years, and then now, in order for you to get a quick paycheck, what do you have to do? You have to go on. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here, man. Ian Wright had to go on there. Why? Because he ain't got no money, man. What happened? Evander Holyfield had to go in the Big Brother house, man. Why? Because he ain't got no money. Evander Holyfield's 58 years old and had a fight about 2 weeks ago, man. Because he ain't got no money. Mike Tyson had to give up his mansion. Why? Because he ain't got no money. Michael Jackson had to do 50 concerts where he was doing that. What is it called? This Is It. He was doing a concert called This Is It. Couldn't even dance, man. Michael Jackson was looking stiff as could be. Could barely move his feet, man. Could barely sing. Could barely get through rehearsals. Taking so much painkillers till he died, man. Doing all that. Why? Because our oppressor leaves you with what? Read that part again.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed.
Listen, man, everything you have, this man takes it all until you be destroyed, man. Until you be destroyed like Evander Holyfield, having to fight at 58 years old, man. Until you destroyed like Michael Jackson, having to take drugs just to make it through rehearsal. These times you should be able to retire, man. Meanwhile, our oppressors get to retire comfortably. They retire comfortably and never have to do nothing again, man.
Right.
Read on.
Which also shall not leave thee either corn.
There you go. This man eats up everything, all your talent that you put into stuff for you to get rich and set up your family so they can have some inheritance. That don't happen because this man leaves you what?
Not either corn, wine, or oil.
This man don't leave nothing, man. You don't get left with nothing. All you get left with is a broken heart. That's the only thing you get is a broken heart, man. Go ahead.
Or the increase of thy kind.
You don't get no increase. Imagine you're doing this work so you get increase, man. The reason you go to work is why? So you get increase, which is money. This man don't want to leave you with that, man. By the time, listen, you're living from paycheck to paycheck. Check how much money if you've worked for 10 years, check your savings, see how much money you've saved after 10 years. I guarantee you ain't saved nothing over 10 years, man.
Right.
Which basically means you working for free. Check your savings. See if you've got more than 15, 20 grand saved. I guarantee you don't. Whereas our oppressor, he has money saved, man.
Right.
Listen, man, he has money saved. Go ahead.
All flocks of thy sheep
Go ahead.
until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down.
Until what?
Thy high and fenced walls come down.
And this is talking about what? What the Romans done, man. Until the high and fenced walls come down. What did they do? They surrounded the city, man. Where we were staying. Some people tried to fight, got killed. Some people fled. Some people tried to run and hide. And the ones that stayed there, they got caught locked in. So what did this man do? He was patient with them, man. He was patient with them. Like what he done, like when he was patient with them, what he done is he just waited outside there, surrounded it so you couldn't leave. Some of them tried to leave. What did he do? Killed them, man. Killed them. So you would have to stay in your house. And what would happen? Eventually you would run out of food. Eventually you'd run out of food, man. It's like when you go to Asda, you run out of food. What do? Stock up again. Imagine if you couldn't stock up. Imagine you run out of food. You run out of toiletries and everything. You're in the house and you know what? There's death inside this house and there's death outside this house. You can either run out and get killed by the Romans, or you can die a slow, painful death where you starve to death in the house. Always remember, this is what this oppressor done to you. Always remember, this is what he put you through. When you think he's your friend, just understand this. He starved some of your ancestors to death, man.
Right.
He starved children to death. He surrounded them where they was afraid to come out of the house. Why? Because they knew that the Romans was going to kill them.
Right.
They burnt down your cities, man. They knocked down your walls. So much that what? Now they named that burning CD thing, what is it? Nero. Because Nero that burnt up Jerusalem or whatever. Now they call that burning thing when you burn CDs. What did they call it? Nero. I believe they call it Nero. Named after him, man. Named after him. Go ahead.
Wherein thou trustest, thou throughout all thy land,
Go ahead.
and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates.
In all thy gates, man, wherever you are. This man surrounded your cities. So you couldn't leave your city, man. Why? Because they was ready to get rid of you. Some had to flee. Some got killed, tried to fight. Some starved to death in their houses. Because why? This man wanted you dead, man. He wanted you dead and he wanted you out of that land, man. So we had to flee. Go ahead. Kind of like today, the one you're out of the land. The only difference is they just don't surround your house like that no more. They do it in a more different way. They just deport you now. Because they know, obviously, if they killed all of us like back then, there would be this big outcry. So obviously they want to make out like they're a Christian people. They would kill you, but they want to make out like they're a civilized Christian people. So they don't do it that way. Now they just deport you. Go ahead.
Throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters.
And people always say, oh, you like used to eat your kids. This is a curse, man. Imagine you've been starved in your house. So what would happen? The Lord ain't telling you to eat your babies. The Lord ain't telling you to eat your children. But this is part of the curse, is that you're in your house starving and there's no food left, man. And you're starving. You're so oppressed. You've got to that stage that you're just trying to eat anything, man. You're trying to eat anything. So obviously them ones that stayed in the house that was trapped inside Jerusalem ended up eating the flesh of their children, man. Most of their children had already died of starvation themselves at that time. So they was left with what? Their children's body in the house. And they would eat it, man. Why? Because they're so starving. Like, well, it is, you've never been that hungry that you've even thought about that. You've been hungry, but you ain't ever been that hungry to where You ain't eating for days and weeks, and you're starving and you're weak and there's nothing else to eat. And then you turn around, you look at this child. Listen, man, they starved them so much that they got to that stage, man, where they was eating their clothes, eating their bouts, so forth. They was eating things that you're thinking, how could they eat that? Like down to this day, you got in Haiti to eat mud cakes and so forth, man. Why? Because our oppressors made us that way, got us that way, man. Read on.
Which the Lord thy God hath given thee in
Meaning
the
the
siege,
meaning the Lord gave you them children. Go ahead.
in the siege, and in the straitness,
And in the siege and in the straightness, go ahead.
wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
Die what?
Thine enemies shall distress thee.
And don't blame these black people for doing that. You blame the enemy that's distressing them, man. Any problem, every time you see black people acting out of character, you blame this oppressor, man. Because he's the one that distresses us. He's the reason why we behave the way we behave. Because of who? Our enemy, man. That distresses us. Go ahead.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate.
Meaning what? This man is distressed. And once upon a time, he was tender among you. He's no longer tender among you no more. Why? Because he's distressed. Meaning he's dealing with our oppressors garbage all day.
Right.
He's being abused on his job. He's being abused by the police. He's being harassed by the police. This man is distressed. So what does he do? He's no longer tender with his brother. He takes it out on another black man. And the black man he takes it out on is distressed also.
Right.
Because he's oppressed by the police. He's oppressed by our oppressor. And then them two both take that anger out on each other. They're no longer tender towards one another because this oppression has got them angry, man. They're distressed by their enemies, and they know they can't fight their enemies because they see their enemies as powerful. They see their enemies run the earth. So what do? Take it out on a black man who ain't powerful.
Right.
Take it out on a black man who has no power. Take it out on a black man who don't run the earth. And the black man that they're taking it out also takes it out on them because he knows they ain't powerful either. So what happens? We look at it like, yo, we're both black. If I kill him, no one cares because people kill us every day anyway. I mean, people kill black people every day anyway. So me killing one more black man, what does it matter? So I want to take out my frustration on someone. And my easiest target is another black man. Why? Because he don't have no protection. Same way you don't have no protection, he don't have no protection. So we take it out our anger on one another. Why? Because you know you couldn't harm a white man because you know he has protection. He has a whole government and a country behind him. Whereas this black man who's distressed, you look at it like, well, people bully me, so let me just bully him. That's how we look at it, man. So once tender, meaning we loved one another, brothers would see each other, say shalom, salute each other, see how we're doing. That's what we would do once upon a time. Once upon a time, somewhere in the world, we will do that. Once upon a time, that was. But now, us being distressed, we're no longer tender towards one another. Go ahead. Meaning we had compassion for one another. I would see your burdens and have compassion. Nowadays, we don't have compassion. Read on.
His eye shall be evil.
His what?
His eye shall be evil.
And now, because this devil's oppressing me, I need to take my anger out on someone, man. And I know I can't take my anger out on no other nation. Why? Because they have power behind them. So I take my anger out on someone who has no power. Now I hate black men now. Why? Because everybody hates black men. So I feel like I should hate them too. That's what we do towards one another, man. Go ahead. Meanwhile, a man with common sense will say, you know what? This black man's oppressed like me. Maybe me and him need to come together, find out how we can come out of this oppression. But what do? We be like, well, the white man's oppressing him. Let me oppress him too. Go ahead.
Towards his brother and toward the wife of his bosom.
And towards the wife of his bosom, man. Once upon a time, black men and black women love one another. Now, every time you log into Instagram, you see a comment from your woman saying you ain't shit. You see a comment from your woman saying you ain't seen the kids in weeks. See a comment from your woman saying you don't do nothing. Arguing on Facebook, on Instagram. Listen, man. Now, We hate each other now we hate each other so much that what? We the only nation on this earth that what have a baby mother, man. No other nations don't use that term, a baby mother. Whenever you heard the Arab man say, yeah, that's my baby mother, we're not together no more. Whenever you heard the Arab woman say, oh yeah, here's my baby father. Whenever you heard the Chinese woman say, here's my baby father, they don't have these problems, man. They don't have these single parent household problems, but we do. Only in our community, it's like, oh yeah. Only in our community, it's cool for a woman to have a baby by 3 or 4 different men, and it's not frowned upon. When have you heard of an Arab woman have 2 different baby fathers, man? Or Chinese woman have 2 different baby fathers? You don't hear it, man. Why? Because these nations know how to stick together and make things work. But we under these cases where we don't know how to make it work, man.
Right.
Where we hate each other, we can't stand each other. So now, our women that are supposed to be our wives, oh, that's just my BMs. Listen, man, whenever you heard the Arab man call his woman his BMs, he would say, oh, yeah, my wife. We were like, oh, just my BMs. She got pregnant and she wasn't supposed to. Only we have them problems, man. Only we have them problems. Yeah, she got pregnant and she wasn't supposed to. I didn't even want a baby with her. Now I'm on this child support. Only we have them problems, man. I didn't want a baby with her, but now I'm on this child support. Nah, she was never my girl. She just got pregnant. When have you ever heard an Arab man say that, man? She was never my woman. She just got pregnant. Arabs don't say that, man. We go through these things. Why? Because these cases fit us, which further shows that we, the people of the Bible, man. That's why all these cases in the Bible fits us. It says towards is woman. Read that part again.
Towards the wife of his bosom.
Towards the wife of his bosom, man. Listen, man, this woman's meant to lie in your arms and love you and all of them things. And now on Facebook, she's saying niggas ain't shit. And listen, man, let me tell you something, man. It's always the same type of women that say niggas ain't shit. It's a woman that's been used by a man. It's a woman that wants a man and he don't want her. He uses her. So the next day, niggas, I have to see niggas ain't shit on Snapchat. Now she has to offend every black man because this one man used her. Listen, man. Every day I have to see men are trash. Listen, man. Whenever you hear the Arab woman say Arab men are trash. I ain't heard that once in my life, man. These times Arab men are trash. But Arab women don't say that, man. Whenever you heard Chinese women speak in Mandarin say Chinese men are trash, you don't see that, man. But when it comes to black men, niggas ain't shit. Black men are trash. Black men are this, black men are that. Like, black men are the most insulted thing on the face of the earth, man. Animals get treated better than black men. And this is part of the cases. So much that animals now get treated better than black men, man. Being a black man, imagine this. The police hate you. The white man hates you. The Arabs hates you. And now black women hate you, man. Everybody's against us, man. Everybody's against us. Now, black men is the most hated thing on the face of this earth. And then black women is second, man. And us as a race can't even come together. Which lets you know that we really are the people of the Bible, man. Which lets you know these cases in the Bible fit us to a T. Read that one more time.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children.
And listen, man. Now, these children hate their father, man. Fathers don't care about the children. These children hate their father. Men don't look after their kids. A man will get a woman pregnant, block and delete her, and disappear off the scene, man. And what do you see? Children saying, "Oh, I hope my dad dies." Children saying, "My dad ain't shit. My dad's this. My dad's that." Because why? Us as a nation have become dysfunctional. The children hate their father. Fathers hate the children's mothers. The mother hates the father and the children. So she feeds the children garbage all day about the father, man. So much that these children want to beat their dads up when they see them and whatnot. Now, no other race has this problem. But in our race, our nation, we have this problem, man, where we can't get along. Read on.
And toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Which what?
Which he shall leave.
The remnant of his children, which he shall leave, man. He leaves them children, and then what does he get? A child support letter through the post one day, man, with his name on there. Now you have to give up 15% of your wage, man. Listen, man, this white man takes more than the Lord requires 10%. This white man wants 15% plus the 21% tax. Listen, man, you almost 50% of your wages gone before you've seen it, man.
Right.
Towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, man. And got a read on.
So that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat.
Meaning what? Now he don't give his children anything, man. Why? Because we're a dysfunctional nation now. We under all these curses so much that what outside of the truth, we don't even know what a good father is. We don't even know what a good mother is. What a good mother today is just someone that brings the kids to school. Yeah, she wakes up, showers the kids, and puts their school uniform on and takes them to school. Nowadays, that's a good mom. That ain't a good mom, man. That's just what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
A good mom is someone who teaches their children the law, statutes, and commandments, and who don't baby their children and knows how to tell their children no from time to time, man. You letting your children bully you and bust you around. A good mom is someone who wouldn't speak evil of her baby father, man. Listen, man, you made love to that man. You had one leg over there, man. One leg on the east side of the map, one leg on the west side of the map, man. You had one leg on the east, one leg on the west, calling him daddy and everything, man. And now you hate him, man. Exactly. You had your foot on someone's son's shoulder, man. Your foot was on someone's son's shoulders, man. One time, at that time, there was no complaints. But now, my baby father ain't shit. He's trash. Listen, man, if he's trash, that means you're trash.
Right.
Listen. So hold on. This man's trash. Okay, so you had unprotected sex with a man that's trash. Yeah, so you had unprotected sex with a man that's trash. Okay. Whenever women say that, you just ask them, okay, so you had unprotected sex with a man that's garbage. Okay. You don't even need to give them a breakdown. You just say, okay, so he's trash and you had sex with him, right? And when she says yes, you just say, okay. That's it. You don't even need to give her no breakdown, man. You don't need to give her no breakdown. Listen, if a man's trash and you've opened your legs to him, what does that make you, man? Because what? Garbage goes in the trash, which means you must be garbage, man. Read on before I get too carried away.
Because he have nothing left.
Go ahead.
Him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress.
And listen, man, we are a nation which is distressed by our enemies. So what do? Take this anger out on our own people. So I'll be having a bad day, and my anger, I take it out on another black man who's also having a bad day. Why? Because he's being oppressed also. So imagine this: I'm being oppressed by these devils, and another black man's being oppressed by these devils, and then me and him see each other, and we're just ready to go because of the anger, man. We're just ready to go stab each other, shoot each other because we're distressed and the anger, man. When really it shouldn't be so. I'm supposed to see my brother and feel like, yeah, man, I've had a bad day. This brother can relate to what I'm going through. Let's just talk about it. He can give me courage. I can give him courage. Listen, man, brotherhood is everything. You have a bad day, you pick up the phone, man. Right. But how we are towards one another now, it's not right, man. But read on.
Wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates, in all thy gates, the tender and delicate woman among you, which should not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground.
Listen, man. Once upon a time, our woman was tender and delicate, man. So tender, they wouldn't put the sole of their foot upon the ground, man. That's how soft and tender they was. Go ahead.
For delicateness and tenderness.
There was delicate, tender, there was soft. Our sisters were shamefaced, man. Our sisters would be humble, would know how to speak to a black man, would know how to behave. There was well behaved, so forth. Go ahead.
Her eye shall be evil toward the husband of
now her eye shall be evil towards the husband now. One time our sisters were soft and tender, and now they are rough and tough, like Cleo from Set It Off, man. Now they're like Cleo from Set It Off, man. All rough and tough, and all up in your face, fingers all up in your face, man. Every day you come home, your clothes is in black bags. The locks on the doors is changed. She's telling you, she's kicking you out. You ain't staying here tonight. Once upon a time, our sisters was tender, man. You come through the door. As soon as you come through the door, the microwave would go ping. Because why? Your food's ready, man. The slippers and the nightgowns ready for you. The shower's running, man. Candles is lit. All those things is done for you, man. Now you come home to no cooked meal, man.
Right.
You come home to her saying you ain't shit. You come home to her saying, give me this money. I need to get my nails done. You ain't nothing. What's it called? Husband does a better job than you do. My friend's partner treats her better than you treat me. And all these things, man. Our women once upon a time was soft and tender. But now they've become rough and tough, man. And abusive, man. They've become abusive, man. Imagine they abuse you before you leave the house, and then you go to work to receive more abuse. On your break, she's phoning you, giving you more abuse. So much that you can't even focus on your job, man. All you're receiving is abuse, abuse, abuse. Are you surprised why you're drinking alcohol every single day? Are you surprised why you're drinking white rum with no chaser? Are you surprised? Listen, man. Our women once upon a time was tender and delicate. But these cases that we're on there, that's not so no more. But where you do find tender and delicate women is in the I.S.U.P.K, man.
Right.
You find women which is tender and delicate, man. You come through the door, they salute you in the Hebrew, man. You come through the door, your dinner's cooked. You come through the door, there's no argument. They understand this house is what your only place of where you can get peace. Imagine nowadays you can't even get peace in your own house, man. In your own house, you can't even get peace. Because why are we under these curses, man? Listen, the Arab man don't go home to abuse. The Arab man goes home to peace and quiet. He goes home to peace and quiet, man. As for you, you don't go home to none of that, man. You go home to abuse and all them things. Go ahead.
And toward a son, and toward a daughter.
And towards a son, and towards a daughter, man. Meaning what? You'd rather go to the club and leave your children in the house all alone, man. There was a case of that the other day. Some girl was partying and left their child at home to die, man. Listen, man. We've become we used to be a nurturing people, but no longer are we nurturing. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, then I don't know what you're doing. But in here, sisters is nurturing. Outside of here, you don't know if you listen. You outside of here, you don't know if them children is going to live or die, man. You don't know if them children is going to get a meal before bed or not. You don't know if their mom's going to put a party over them. You don't know if their mom's going to find some boyfriend that's going to molest your child, man. You don't know that outside of here, man. Go ahead.
And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet.
And towards a young one that cometh out from between her feet, man. You have them babies and you don't want them, so you abuse them. You allow your partner to abuse them also. Once upon a time, we was a nurturing people, man. But all this, us being distressed by our enemies, us being oppressed by our enemies, has caused us to do what? Become a vile people. Become a vile people towards one another.
Right.
To not care about nothing. To think life's just one big joke and one big party. To think, okay, well, we are worthless people. Let's just keep being worthless. That's how we live. We live like we are people who is a worthless people. So let's keep being worthless. Like we don't see worth in our nation when we are people who have a ton of worth, man. And you find out your worth in the I.S.U.P.K, man.
Right.
I'm so lucky. I have to keep saying it. But you find out your worth in the I.S.U.P.K. Read on.
And toward her children which she shall bear.
And towards her children which she shall bear, man. Telling the children she hates them. You look just like your daddy. You're ugly like your father. All of those things. Listen, man. Everyone's heard that, man. You're ugly like your father, man. Listen, man. If your father was so ugly, your mom wouldn't have had sex with him, man. She's lying again. You're ugly like your father. Okay, but you had 3 kids with him. Oh, okay. Ugly like your father, but you had 3 kids with him. Okay. Read on. He couldn't be that ugly, so okay. Couldn't be that ugly if you had 3 kids with him. Exactly. You must have liked something about him if you had 3 kids with him. Yeah. For real? Boy.
Salakia. And the children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things.
Meaning what? She will get rid of them for the want of all things. Because she wants to go to university. She thinks she's gonna get degrees. The thing is this, she ain't even enrolled for university.
Right.
But wants to get rid of them. Because why? She thinks she's going somewhere. She thinks she's got a career. She's gonna be a singer and so forth. And why? Why do we believe all these things? Why? Because of social media. So we believe, you know what? Children hold you back. That's what we believe. And it's not their fault why they believe that. It's social media and our oppressor, who's more subtle than every beast of the field. He sells them a dream that don't exist. He sells them a lie that don't exist. And us in our ignorance, we believe it exists. So what do? All of these things that we're reading of, read on.
For she shall eat them for want of all things.
For one of all things. Why? Because she believes she's going to have a career. She believes her life is for her to just run around like one of the Kardashians. She thinks she's going to become one of them Kim K and Kylie Jenner and all of them. Not realizing, listen, man, your role is to do what? Have babies, man. Have babies and raise up this nation. That's what you're supposed to do, man. Make having babies your career, man. And listen, guess what? You do know you can have babies and still go to university.
Right.
You still can graduate and so forth. Go ahead.
For want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness,
Go ahead.
wherewith thine enemy shall distress.
And listen, man. Our enemies distress us, and this is why we live a certain way. What verse you at?
I'm in verse 58.
All right, then.
57.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up for time's sake. Also, let's give the brother the announcements. We'll finish it off next week. Lucky I had a ton more that I wanted to get to. Didn't get to. We'll be check out tomorrow's class as well. Captain Prosh will be here. 7 p.m. till 9. Hold on one second. Find the security announcements. You didn't get to eat. No, I had some, but I don't think it was. I don't think that stewed chicken was hitting like that. You know, that stewed chicken was missing some seasoning. You know, seems like it missed out on the all-purpose. You know, I couldn't taste no all-purpose on that. You know, I was trying to taste the all-purpose. You see, if you can't cook, you just use the all-purpose. That didn't have that chicken had no purpose. So lucky, no purpose was on that chicken. All right, we'll be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 9. The brother's gonna do the security announcements. Then we out of here. Go ahead.
Back up for the officer.
Most High in Christ.
This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, means 10th in Hebrew, Maya Sha'ara. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you, give to treasury department or teacher, priest fund. Free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations.
Closing of the Feast of Tabernacles, which is September the 28th, which is Tuesday coming. So September the 28th, Tuesday coming. Listen, we're gonna drink, we're gonna eat. Come on down, man. If you're in the UK, come on down next Tuesday. We're gonna eat, we're gonna drink, man. Come chill with the brothers and the sisters, man.
Right.
The sisters got a banging menu for you, man.
That's right.
Listen, this week coming, listen. So lucky, obviously, feast days is my department, so I know all the ins and outs. Listen, the sisters got a banging menu for you, but go ahead. Just come on down. You're gonna taste some of the best food you ever tasted.
Right. Check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. To that I say, Admadium. Amadium Shabbat. Amadium Barak. Yahaba Shimya Shai Brakatha.
Yahaba Shemya Ajra Barakafam.
Yajimata. Class dismissed.
All right, Shalom Israel will be here tomorrow with Captain Prussia, 7 p.m. till 9. All right, Shalom.